Hello, this is Mara Jade, and I'm here with another video, and someone posted the link to this article in one of the Twitter chats I am part of, this time coming from IndieWire.com, entitled, "Birds of Prey won't break opening records but could see a long box office life." And with this title, I'm starting to see them covering their proverbial bases. I'm starting to see the show medium machine trying to put as much of a positive spin as they can on this film, so should it underperform, fall below whatever box office projections they have, they can look back on this article and say, hey, we never expected it to do this because of this. So, again, covering their bases. But anyway, I'm not going into the box office projections for this film. I'm just going to give my 2 cents on this article. And so let's get into it, shall we? Alright, Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment's Birds of Prey, I'm not saying that damn subtitle, will lead the post-Super Bowl weekend, although it would have to exceed expectations to avoid being the first film to fall short of its 2019 predecessor. This is a case when it's not a fair comp. You do not sound trendy or cool by shortening words like that, just write out comparison, please. This date often sees a bevy of new films, since Super Bowl weekend lacks top titles, and it often falls closest to Valentine's Day. That's not the case this year, so positive spin number 1, not only is February 14th next Friday, that weekend also overlaps President's Day, so everybody sees movies on holidays, right? For now, Birds of Prey benefits from being the sole new release and the first one since Bad Boys for Life 3 weeks ago that had more than niche interest. Technically, Dolittle would also belong in that category, but the public felt otherwise. I did not see either of those 2 films, however, I will give credit to the author here, and that is, it is a benefit for this film because it is the sole new release for this month. With no new films coming out to possibly draw crowds away from this film, it does have that benefit going for it. It seems nearly impossible to match 2019 this weekend. Last year saw 4 new releases, with the Lego Movie 2 best at 34 million. With the rest, the total came to about 70 million. That's way above the most optimistic guesses for Birds, which is expected to easily do more than 35 million. I love the easily do more than 35 million. Positive spin there. But it falls short of Bad Boys, which grossed 62 million. Positive spin number 2. Apart from being a high-profile draw, it builds on 2 previous comic book movie successes in February, Deadpool in 2016 and Black Panther in 2018. Both thrived outside the normal fan base, which is true. Comic book movies and superhero movies in general can draw both crowds because there's enough in there to not only for comic book fans to love, but also for normal audiences to come out with some enjoyment and not be confused with everything. So it can draw both crowds. However, what this author conveniently omits in this paragraph is that not only was there a higher level of anticipation for those 2 previous films, but the marketing campaigns were far better than the one for Birds of Prey. When you have those 2 things going for it, you are going to draw normal audiences to the film. Now, again, I'm not saying that normal audiences aren't going to see this film. I'm just saying that you can't use these 2, Deadpool and Black Panther, as a comparison for this film, Birds of Prey. Okay. Birds of Prey shares with Deadpool a tongue-in-cheek attitude and an R rating. Does not automatically mean that both are going to... Birds of Prey is going to be just as good as Deadpool. It has girl power appeal. I cannot tell you how much I've grown to dislike that phrase, girl power. And with Valentine's Day approaching, a better chance for second weekend appeal. God. I'm probably going to piss off people with this sentence, but I don't care. That's probably more going to be feminazis dragging their male feminist boyfriends to the film. Harley Quinn is a multi-decade sidekick in the DC Print World universe who evolved from a villain with ties to the Joker to an anti-hero figure. I never liked that evolution of her character. She's always better when she's with the Joker. Portrayed here by Margot Robbie, an Oscar nominee this weekend coming off 2 acclaimed movies last year, and also producer here, the 81 million reported budget has a freshness that has propelled other comic book titles to success. I find it curious that he's listing the budget here as 81 million when other sources I've covered has put the production budget at around 97.1 million. 2 sources at least that I can think of, Deadline and CBR.com, both have that figure, and this one has about a $16.1 million difference, and I find that very odd. I don't know if that plays into the figure for the $35 million, but oh well, it just seems off to me. Early reviews have been mixed, but that isn't much different from Deadpool, which had a massive 132 million domestic opening. Again, had a higher level of anticipation for the film, as well as a much better marketing campaign prior to its release. Conveniently omitting that fact, so again, they're trying to put as much of a positive spin as they can in this article. Of course, that had the benefit of the Marvel fan base, though released by 20th Century Fox, not Disney, as well as of the rare sense of comic book movie that included a smart-ass sense of humor, as well as the notion that its heroes might be human enough to have a sex life. I don't know, are you conveniently forgetting the, shall we say, Batman films that came before it? The romantic interest Batman had in those films? Are you conveniently forgetting that? I mean, yeah, we figure superheroes are going to have a sex life in the film. That's not exactly new. Here, the R rating is more for strong violence as well as language, which puts it on a different level than the more conventional Wonder Woman. That DC character is far more iconic than Harley Quinn, but her outsider status gave the creative team more leeway to try new things. The creative team to try new leeway phrase, that's a code to me for whatever agenda they can put on the character. That team includes Kathy Yan, who is the first Asian American woman to direct a high-budget studio release. Chloe Zhao comes right behind her this fall with the Marvel's The Eternals. Yan's Dead Pigs in 2018, set in Shanghai, debuted at Sundance but received mostly festival play after. This is a major leap for her and reflects the impact of Wonder Woman and Patty Jenkins, or maybe the fact that it's virtue signaling and they're just hiring a woman for the sake that they can say they hired a female director. Now, I'm just saying, based on everything I've seen with Hollywood nowadays. Now, I'm not saying that she's not a competent director. I'm just saying that, given what the direction Hollywood is going, I would not be surprised if that leap is because she is a woman and she is in the minority, being an Asian American. Don't jump down my throat. I'm just going off of what I'm seeing in Hollywood these days. Okay. Still, the fate of Harley Quinn is uncertain, although 50 to 60 million would be reasonable opening, and I love the phrase reasonable opening. Even though Joker, the movie that came out last October with Joaquin Phoenix, had a production budget of $55 million, and exceeded that budget in its box office opening with around 96 million or so. And the fact that Birds of Prey has a higher budget and can't exceed that budget with its opening weekend is not reasonable in my opinion. Over the past 5 years, 6 movies on this date, 3 of which targeted kids, have done that well, with Black Panther dwarfing all others at 202 million. 50 Shades of Grey in 2015 approached 90 million. The fact that Birds of Prey, a DC comic book movie, cannot even come close to besting Twilight fucking fan fiction is sad. I'm sorry, it's just sad. The rest of the top 10 should follow close to last weekend. Bad Boys is likely the only other film that will gross more than 10 million, unless a pre-Oscar boost minimizes the fall of 1917. That movie I did see, and I highly recommend it. I enjoyed it very much when I did go to the theater. Then a series of grosses around 5 million or lower, led by Dolittle. Though January had 2 major releases to help start 2020 on an uptick, most of the rest of the new titles have been flat or worse. Birds should be the first of many weeks with potential standouts. By the end of this month, we'll know if the early positive signs suggest a stronger than expected 2020. So positive spin there, right there. Alright, that's the article from IndieWire.com. Again, I'm not saying that this movie is going to underperform. I'm not saying it's going to flop. I'm just looking at it and saying that they're covering their bases as much as they can prior to the general audiences seeing this film. Because I'm not seeing a high level of anticipation for this film. And I'm not seeing a good marketing campaign either. But anyway, that's just my opinion. I am going to go see this film this weekend one way or another. But I'm not going to give a review or do a video review of this film. I'm going to give my thoughts on the movie when I do the weekly live stream with Lethal Lightning this Saturday. So because I'm still in Twitter jail, I cannot promote that stream on Twitter. So I will push him to start promoting the stream on his Twitter page, as well as set a time for that stream. So if you want to know our thoughts on this film, I highly recommend you go check it out. But anyway, until then, if you like this video, leave a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments, are you planning on seeing this film? Are you not planning on seeing this film? Why or why not? Let me know. And share this video, please, for this week as much as possible. I normally don't ask people a lot to do that, or at least beg people to do that, but because I'm in Twitter jail, I cannot do it myself. I cannot post until Sunday 4:30 or so p.m. Eastern Standard Time, my time. But anyway, this is Mara Jade. I'm going to see this film. I'm going to give my raw thoughts this weekend, and I will let you know what I think. And until then, catch you later on the dark side. See ya.